Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think if your AI is just, well, lazy? Like, is it just grabbing the very first answer it finds online and calling it a day? Because if it is, you might be heading for a disaster. So let's dive into why going beyond that first result is absolutely critical for building AI we can actually trust. Story, once upon a time. Picture this, a world-class chef. The pressure is on for a huge event. He does a quick search for a fancy new cake recipe. The first one looks perfect. He doesn't think twice, just trusts it completely and starts baking. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? He served a 90% salt cake. Total disaster. Why? Because the first result was a prank recipe. And here's the scary part. This is exactly how most standard AI workflows operate. They find one piece of information and treat it as gospel. Level up, study buddy. Let's build something way, way smarter. Now, this massive flaw actually has a name. It's called the single query trap. And it's the reason so many AI tools can feel unreliable or just off. We're going to break down exactly why this one-and-done search is such a bad idea. So what is it, really? Well, think of it as a straight line. The AI asks a question once, grabs a couple of documents, and spits out an answer based only on that first batch. There's no double checking, no, wait a second, does this actually make sense? It's completely static. And the fallout from this is pretty bad, especially for a common setup called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. This whole approach just crumbles when you ask it complex questions that need multiple steps. It'll pull up outdated info without even knowing it. And famously, it's super prone to hallucinations, where it just makes stuff up. At the end of the day, it has zero ability to correct itself. It's our chef tasting that salty batter and just going, yeah, looks good to me. Okay, but what if we could teach our AI to be more like a skeptical researcher and less like that gullible chef? Well, that's exactly where the Agentic Search Loop comes in. This is how we get our AI to go from just making wild guesses to actually knowing things you can rely on. And the whole process is this beautiful, elegant three-step cycle. First, the agent reasons. It thinks, what do I already know? And based on that, what's the exact question I need to ask next? Then it moves on to verify. It goes out, runs the search, and grabs evidence to ground its thinking in actual data. And finally, this is the magic part, it refines. It looks at what it found and asks, is this the whole story? Are there any gaps? If the answer isn't a solid no, it doesn't just stop. It loops right back to step one. And that's the key takeaway here. The power is in the loop. It's not a one-way street. It's a cycle of constant questioning and improvement. The agent just keeps digging and refining until it is absolutely certain the facts are verified. That's how you build trust. So you might be wondering, how does this loop actually get smarter over time? Well, it's all about rewarding the shortest path. It's not just about being right, it's about being efficiently right. And the engine driving all of this is something called process-supervised reinforcement learning. I know, it sounds super technical, but the core idea is actually pretty straightforward. See, with normal training, the AI only gets a reward if the final answer is correct. But with this method, the AI gets rewarded for the entire process. It learns to find the smartest, most efficient path to the truth, the shortest path. So it's not just about getting the right answer, it's about getting there in the best way possible. Let's see what this looks like with numbers. Okay, after its very first search, the agent pulls in one unverified piece of info. Its confidence is, maybe 20%. It knows it has a piece of the puzzle, but it's far from the full picture. But then, after it loops through that reason, verify, refine cycle a few times, cross-referencing sources, filling in the blanks, look what happens. The confidence score just skyrockets to 99%. The agent hasn't just found an answer, it has actually built a rock-solid case for it. All right, let's make this real. We're going to run a little exercise I call the tech merger test. We'll see how this loop works when it has to choose between a company press release and an official SEC filing. So the first search result is the press release. It's a good starting point, but it's loaded with marketing fluff and high-level summaries. It might even be speculative. The agent sees this and knows it's not enough. So it triggers another loop, but this time it specifically looks for the SEC filing. And that document? That's the good stuff. Legally binding facts, official data, all the granular details. By comparing the two, the agent goes from the company's story to the actual verifiable truth. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's simple, really. Trust is built on evidence. In the world of AI, just like everywhere else, you don't build a real trust on a single claim. You build it on a strong foundation of proof. And that's really the whole point. We're trying to move AI from being a simple guessing machine to a tool that gives us trusted, actionable outcomes. And because of the loop, every single answer it gives you is backed by an auditable chain of evidence. You can literally retrace its steps to see how it got there. So, I want to leave you with this question. The next time you use an AI, ask yourself, are you getting an answer from a gullible chef who just grabbed the first thing they saw? Or are you working with a diligent digital researcher who checks every single fact? Remember, trust is built on evidence. Don't stop at the first result. If this helped you level up your thinking, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Study Buddy with Notebook LM. It's your daily guide to the agentic revolution. Stay agentic.